We flew into Berlin and we took a train about 3 hours down to Dresden. We were so excited to be on this train. I'd never been on like a train in Europe, and it was like Harry Potter, and we just like had our heads out the window. Like, we were so excited, and we got off the train and we were just super dehydrated too. We probably hadn't drinking anything for like 24 hours. German food is the best food. I cannot understate that. Where I spent most of my mission in East Germany, the big dish was called Rouladen, and imagine just like a giant slab of meat, and you fill it with more meat and mushrooms and mustard and roll it up and cook it for a couple hours, and you eat it with like potato dumplings and red cabbage. Oh, I had that seriously every Sunday for 18 months. They eat so much meat and potatoes. Like, they are potato masters. Idaho has nothing on Germans. Best chocolate ever. Like, I am a total chocolate snob. Hershey's does not touch these lips. German chocolate is the best, and it's super cheap too. And cheese is super cheap, and bread is super cheap. I haven't eaten bread since coming home because it's not good. Yeah, everyone lives in apartments for the most part, just because there's 80 million people in this place that's the size of Montana. There's not a lot of room for houses. I think it's very interesting. On holidays in America, so you picture like 4th of July, fireworks, parades, everyone's outside grilling, you go to the movies. And like their type of holiday, their 4th of July is October 3rd, and it is dead. There's no one on the streets. All the stores are closed. No one answers their doors. No one's outside mowing their lawn. It just looks like a zombie apocalypse. And that's one big difference I noticed between America and Germany. The younger generation, the German children are learning to speak English. But the older generation in West Germany, a lot of them speak English. They could learn it in school. But in East Germany, they all learned Russian just because of the communist era and the wall. So the older generation didn't speak English. The history of Germany and of Europe has definitely impacted the people, especially in East Germany. The coming down of the wall is fairly new. And so there's still a generation that lived behind communist rule and grew up there. And so religion is something that is very foreign and new to them, in the sense that they weren't raised like that. They knew about it, but they weren't raised under those circumstances. And so a lot of people we met with and taught were atheists just because of how the government was ran. Or when I served in Dresden, a lot of the older generation, they've lived through World War II, or their parents were in it, and they've heard stories about how America just destroyed Dresden, and it was nothing. It was totally bombed out. And so meeting them, and as being Americans, sometimes you would get that, well, why should I listen to you? You destroyed my city. And so it was interesting being an American in a world that was torn apart. Germany is actually quite a melting pot, especially in the big cities. I taught many Africans and people from Turkey and China. But, I mean, real Germans come in all shapes and hair colors. And I think my priorities, or my outlook on the priorities, changed from living in Germany. So for example, their grocery stores, they have very limited hours. They are closed at 8, not open on Sundays, shorter times on Saturdays. And they have more holidays, more time to spend with their families. And Germans love spending time together. And I think sometimes here we get so caught up in everything we do. And over there it's slowed down and you have time to appreciate everything. And so that's something I try to focus on coming back to America, where everything is just like bright lights flashing at you from every direction.